Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It is Craig Harris, the black man in the green chair with my big green drink, and I'm back with another video. Happy Sunday to you guys. Hopefully y'all had a good, safe Saturday. I went out to a barbecue, had ribs, had prime rib. We started grilling at 1:45 yesterday, and we grilled all the way up till 6 o'clock. It was just being a man out there. We had pork loin. We had everything. It was wonderful. Good company, good drinks. Had a good time out there. Hope you all survived the storms yesterday here on the East Coast. I am having internet problems over here because that storm that came through. So hopefully I can stay on air. Got some kind of connection problem. So they're going to come out and fix it here in the next 3 days. But happy Sunday to you all. And I'm just back here to deal with these with all this stuff that has happened this week with Destiny 2, and try to get you all's thoughts on it, on what happened and what I think happened, and you all needing to try to understand these jack reachers out here that are hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for getting up and joining me at 11:22 in the morning on the East Coast. So yeah, I'm efforting a invite for on the gamer couch. Hopefully I'm able to get in. He may be full today. If not, I'll be streaming some games this afternoon. When I'm done this podcast, I'm gonna probably stream Witcher. I've got Witcher going right now. I just put it on pause to do this podcast. So appreciate you guys joining me. What's going on, Guardia Legends? Like I said, special shout out to Mr. Salazar there, my first Patreon. Like I said, I do appreciate it, brother. Like I said, chump change for a G. Craig Harris 88. Go check that out, please, guys. And just let me know your thoughts on that. Like I said, I'm only doing it to get a camera made or bought. And once the camera is bought, I'm getting out of the Patreon because I don't want you guys money for anything else but the camera, so that people can watch me build the PC. That's all. But let me go ahead and get to this whole Destiny thing. So, I did a video on this a couple days ago, a quick video on just the reaction of the Xbox community and how they're reacting to this and how they are literally just blaming everything on everybody else except who they should be blaming it on, which is the developers. What they don't understand with Destiny, with that game, is that the pre-install base is at there's 60 million PlayStation 4, some of the OG PlayStation. There's 60 million PlayStations out, and then you have 28 to 30 million Xbox Ones out. So their install base is at 90 million. The Scorpio has not even come out yet. It's not out. So its install base is zero. It is zero. So what's the point of making a game specifically for zero people? I mean, they're expecting, and I'm going to get to that, they're expecting these companies that spend millions of dollars to just default to them, to default to the Scorpio because it's more powerful. And despite the fact there were people on YouTube saying they're not going to do that, they're going to go with their pre-install base, which is at 30, and they want the people who play on PlayStation 4, PlayStation Pro, Xbox One, and Xbox Scorpio, they're going to buy it. They want them to be able to play with each other. Okay, if they make a bill for the Scorpio and the Scorpio comes out and sells, let's just say it sells 3.2 million. Okay, do you really think they're just going to say, oh, well, we don't, we're going to not make a game, we're going to only make a game for 3.2 million people? Are you crazy? You won't be in business that long because there's no guarantee that 3.2 million people will go buy it. What if out of the 3.2 million, only 385,000 people buy the game? Or let's go higher. Let's say 725,000 buy the game on Scorpio. That's not a lot of people. Then you have to support those people constantly, with things. So they're not going to do that. So now, I heard a podcast yesterday. So shout out to Randall Thor and Porter Rock. Go check out that podcast. Randall Thor did a podcast and Porter Rock joined him and really try to break it down. And Porter Rock, again, shout out to him again. He did another podcast yesterday about Portal's Point. It's a 15-minute podcast really explaining to everybody what happened. And what happened was that they're not going to, they being Bungie, they're not going to, smack down 90 million console owners potentially by making a Scorpio build. Somebody's going to really have to explain to me why that makes sense. That is the equivalent of you only making a hamburger for one kind of person. Instead of making a hamburger with you get everything on it, you just make a plain hamburger, and then you get upset if people don't buy it. So you have the Xbox community, which these are the Jack Reachers. These are the guys and the girls who said flat out, every game is going to be 4K 60 on the Scorpio. This is a smack in their face, especially if it's confirmed. Now, I'm willing to wait to at least E3 because for whatever reason, Bungie will not come out and say what it's going to be on the Scorpio. They just won't. So, but there's a reason why. Is that Mike Ybarra and all those guys have come out and said, look, we're not mandating anything on these guys. There's a reason why they weren't doing it. So, and if it's 30 FPS, is that so bad? And I really want to talk about that with you guys today because for some reason, console owners believe they should be able to get 60 FPS on their games. And that's not the target of the developers. The developer has always targeted 30. That's their sweet spot for console games. Okay, not 60. So, I mean, it's not, you all have got to be smarter consumers than what you've been doing. And I'm talking about the people who have not made the investment. You just have a regular Xbox or you just have a regular PlayStation 4. I can tell you as a PlayStation 4 owner that went to the PlayStation Pro, if you do not have a 4K television, it's not a good idea to invest in the Pro. Because I bought the Pro. The reason why I bought the Pro is to play games in UHD. And UHD again is anything 1440p and up or 1080p and up. So games that are built at 1440p, 1800p, 1600p, those games are already being spit out at a higher fidelity, and they're being upscaled on your television to 2160p. The TV already does your upscaling. That's why when I hear people say, "Well, the game is 1800p," but what Sony did with their checkerboarding is that they put another technique in with their Pro that the developers can take advantage of to give it a even cleaner look. That's why it looks the same as a native picture if let me caveat that, if you're 5 to 7 feet back. So let me read what Savage Yogurt put. Dev said it was because of the CPU that it wasn't 60 FPS on Scorpio. When it comes to raw power, on Pro. When it comes to raw power, Scorpio's CPU is not much more powerful than Pro CPU. So that's a legitimate statement by Savage. I hope I'm saying, is it Yuger? Because it's YOO in the United States is pronounced you, not yo. So hopefully if it's Savage Yogurt, that's a legitimate point. Now, what Savage Yogurt has to understand is that if he goes out and buys a Scorpio and he buys Destiny, he shouldn't expect it to run research. He's already done the research on the CPU. And that's what you guys have got to start doing. You all have got to start so Yogurt. Okay, that's cool. Appreciate it. Thank you for the correction. Okay. So if I say, is it Yuger? Let me type that in for you. So I'm gonna type it in. Is it pronounced like Yuger or Yoger? So which one's on? Because I want to get your name right, because I appreciate you listening to me this morning, and and I appreciate your sub too. But this is a legitimate point. So see, I was gonna call you Savage. Savage has already done the research, so he's saying he would not. So if he already knows that, would he be shocked if it's 30 FPS? No. Oh, okay, I got you. All right. Does the accent? Okay, that's the accent, Mar. So you. Okay, I'm probably still saying it wrong. Is it all right? I'm gonna say Uyghur. Just type in yes or no. Then I'll change it. I promise you. But understand that you guys have got to be smart. All right, so you need to understand that if you haven't got a pro, okay, okay. Okay, so I got it. Savage Ogre. All right, got you. All right, so understand that if you have a vanilla PS4, okay, I'm talking about the one that came out 2013, that's still out. This slim version of it. You need to understand if you go get a pro, the pro, what they did was they patched a lot of the games that had already come out. So you got games, let's say like Hitman, it got a patch. It's 1440p. But since it's being if you got a 4K television, it's being upscaled to 2160p. Again, the TV does this for you automatically. So it doesn't matter, right? You could put in a Blu-ray. Let's just say you put in, hell, I don't know, Batman versus Superman, the regular 1080p Blu-ray. It's going to try to, the Pro will try to upscale it. So I don't know if you remember about a year or two ago, there were Blu-ray devices out that were 4K upscaling devices. So I got you. Your drunk brother probably came up with the name. Okay, I got you. So that's what the Pro does. And this is me not damage controlling the Pro. You need to understand that as a consumer that you are going to get a upscale to 4K. So it doesn't matter if I put in my Blu-ray of Star Trek. Okay, if I put that in, because it's going to upscale to 4K. So it's going to stretch the pixels as far as it can to get it as close to 2160p as it can. That's a fact. That's the way upscaling works. All right. So that's what the Pro is doing. So they did it with games like Deus Ex. They did it with games like Fallout 4. All those games are Pro support, meaning that it's UHD, meaning what? Like I just said, meaning that all they did was they went in and they said, okay, UHD is anything above 1080p. So because 1080p is full HD or full high definition, UHD is ultra high definition. So the games are in ultra high definition, which is exactly what they walked out on stage in New York and they told us they were going to give us. Now, anything else is a bonus if you have the Pro. So if you're able to get 4K native games, like Skyrim, like The Division, like allegedly Destiny 2, like, a game like, I think that's just off the top of my head, or I can remember. If you're able to get 4K native out of that, that's a bonus to you guys, okay? It's like going into the restaurant. When you order the hamburger on the left side, you're just going to get the hamburger. But you go get that gourmet burger, it comes with a side. It comes with fries, a baked potato, potato chips. It's part of the meal. You don't have to pay extra for it. So that's all the Pro is. It's just a way for you to take advantage of your 4K TVs. They've also added, some games have added HDR support. Now, that's escaped me. Did Bungie, and this is for the people in the chat here, did Bungie say anything about Destiny being having HDR support? Because I didn't see that. I can't find that. So I'm not here to say it does or doesn't. So since I didn't see it, I can't confirm that. So yeah, and Guardia Legends, shout out to you, says the Xbox dudes need to realize the Scorpio games will run just like Xbox One original games. He's been saying that forever. Again, that makes sense because the Xbox One already has an install base of 30 million. Roughly, I'm just rounding that up. So why would a company alienate 30 million? Look, for all we know, at E3, Bungie may come out and say the Scorpio build, they're going to have a 30 FPS build so that they can play with all the Xbox One guys, and they're going to have a 60 FPS build to only play with the Scorpio gamers. There's nothing wrong with Bungie doing that if that's what they want to do. The question will be, will they go support the game on Scorpio? Because not everybody that buys a Scorpio Not everybody that buys a Scorpio is going to go buy Destiny. Okay, they're just not. I mean, not that they won't, but a lot of them won't do it. Some of them are just going to buy it to have it, to say I'm, we're doing this on the Scorpio. I'm interested in buying one because of the Forza Hot Wheels. That to me, like I said, being a kid playing with Hot Wheels, oh my God, that I played that at a friend of mine's house, and I'm like, man, oh man, this may have to come into Craig's corner. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I'm able to have the PC made by the end, my goal is to have that done by the end of the year. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so everybody has to bear with me. But I'd rather just play that game 4K 60 on the PC. That's me. Okay, that's me. That's no diss on anything else. But let me ask you this, Guardian Legends. Is it safe to say that you think the Scorpio games, the first party games, will be 4K 60? That to me makes much more sense for Gears of War to be 4K 60. It's a first party game. Another first party game. What if they do a Rise 2, another first party game? Let's say they do a Rise Part 2. That should be 4K 60. I mean, I don't know if it's going to make a difference or not, but I could see that being 4K 60. But I think as far as Sony is concerned, shooting for 4K 30 on console is what you need to shoot for. Somebody's going to have to explain to me, why would they shoot for a 60 FPS game when it will run 60 or unlocked on PC? I saw a article, maybe it's WCC Tech, that said it can run 140 frames per second on PC. So why in the world are they? And it's not going to be available. It's going to be on BattleNet or something. I don't even know what the hell that is. Once I get my PC built, I will get more into that. But my question and my point, but let me get back to the upscaling stuff. That's all the Pro is. It's a giant upscaling device. Now, I can just tell you firsthand, I'm playing Witcher on there, and because the Witcher, even though it's in 1080p, okay, because I'm running it on a UHD TV, it already looks better. It looks more pronounced, okay? It's still the same textures. CD Projekt Red did not go in and do a pro build. It just looks better. Gerard's hair, I think that's his name, Gerard, I think his hair just looks better. It's a little more pronounced. The NPCs are a little more pronounced. The sound is a little bit better. The load times are a little bit better, thank God, because those load times were ridiculous. So again, that's what I'm expecting. You know, it's unfortunate that Jack Reacher told you, and these are the people who have been doing. There's a guy, and shout out to him. I'm not going to say his name because I love him to death. And I did get a confirmation from Fox, so I will be on the couch today at 3 p.m. Eastern, provided my internet holds. So big shout out to him. So check me out on the Gamer Couch today at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on there. Gamer Lives Matter is supposed to be on there. Kratos, the god of PlayStation, should be on there. Supersonic Wolf, aka Iron Wolf, the General, he'll be on there. For a couple other people's names, and I think Matt's Gaming is going to be on there. So everybody just come in. It's at 3 o'clock. We're kind of the appetizer before WWP is what I like to say. So that's the way I look at it. So we're just kind of the appetizer, not as edgy, just going to be straightforward gaming. Hopefully, no drama. That's not what we're about. So come check that out, my man Fox's channel, PlayStation News Now, Foxy Games UK. So check that out. But you all really are getting caught up in what is wrong. And I hear people just going crazy. I mean, they're actually blaming Sony. Like Sony has the ability to go tell Bungie, an independent developer, how they're going to make their games. That's how stupid Jack Reacher is. Okay? And you can just go down. Like I said, these guys have made 6 to 10 podcasts about Destiny, and I'm not going to buy Destiny. This is for everybody that knows. I am not going to buy Destiny. I didn't like the first Destiny. I certainly hope. I know they improved it, but I don't like MMOs. on consoles. Now, maybe somebody can go ahead and maybe this will change my mind. And I'll be playing the Uncharted game because Destiny comes out, I think, September 8th. And that's 2 weeks after Uncharted, the Lost Legacy or whatever it's called. So Lost Chronicles, Lost Legacy. So I'll be playing the Uncharted game because I'm a big fan of the Uncharted series. So now Guardian Legend says the Scorpio should have 4K 60 FPS first-party games. The Xbox One Slim and Xbox One Original will just have to take a graphical downgrade, texture shading, lighting. Again, Guardian Legends is making a legitimate comment there. So he already knows if he buys a Scorpio, not to expect the other games, the third-party games, to be 60 FPS. He's already expecting it. So that's a legitimate position to take because if you get 4K 60, it's great. That's like I said, that is the salad dressing. That's the coleslaw on the hot dog. That's the mustard on the hot dog. The onions. All your little sides. 60 FPS. That's what it is for console guys, and we're console gamers right now. We are paying for the convenience of that ecosystem, but with convenience comes limitations. So, if you want unlimitedness, you buy a PC and you make your PC gen it up to the point where if you need to run it at 720p, 150 frames a second, you can run games like that. Most PC owners are running games what? And what did they say? Between 900p and 1440p. So they can maintain at least a minimum of 60 frames per second. It's just, you can go look that up yourself. So what did Sony target with the Pro? Going back to that, they targeted 1440p on up. That's their target range. So what is Scorpio going to do? Well, I agree. First-party games, so games like Halo, games like Gears of War, like I said earlier, maybe Sea of Thieves, maybe that gets 4K 60. Okay, Cuphead, maybe it gets 4K 60. All right, so those are games that are your first-party franchise games. Those are the games that, oh, man, these games are going to be so good. I got to get the Xbox One. Like I said earlier about Forza. Now, look, I am not knocking Gran Turismo. I'll buy Gran Turismo day one. But the Forza Hot Wheels game, that blew me away. So and now I don't know if you can design your own Hot Wheel track to make your cars go around. If that's on there, if they have a track design, I'll go buy a Scorpio. I will go buy a Scorpio if they have track design on Forza. That's what I'm waiting to hear. So if somebody knows that, just hit me up, tweet me, say it in the chat, say it in the down here in the comment section. I'll go buy the damn thing day one if Forza has the Hot Wheels track creator, or are they already predetermined tracks? Because if I can design my own track, my God, that's like being in the basement when I was a kid for hours playing. So I'll be able to drive it. I will go buy that. I'll buy the Scorpio for that. Now I'll buy it and play it, get bored, and I'll turn it in. Or maybe I'll just sell it, or maybe, hell, who knows? Maybe I'll buy it and give it away. So I just don't know. So, but shout out again, Gamer Lives Matter. He's doing a giveaway, or he's doing a challenge on his page at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Maybe I think he lives in Tennessee. So maybe it's going to be, I can't remember if it's 1 o'clock his time or it's 2 o'clock Eastern. So just go check that out around 1 o'clock. Gamer Lives Matter. Big shout out to him again. But so let me get back to Destiny 2. Does anybody know? Let me ask you, Guardian Legends or Savage. Do you know if it has HDR support either for the Xbox One S or the PlayStation? Does anybody know if it has HDR? Because I pulled it up. I can't find it. So, and if it does, I missed it, that's fine. But let me get back to Jack Reacher. Why do you guys in the chat and the ones who are going to comment later, why do you think that there were people in the Xbox community that said all games are going to run 4K 60 on the Scorpio, the third-party games? Why do you not think, because remember what my advice was. My advice is and always will be to wait for the developers to come out and tell you what it's going to be. So Roddy Lodge is saying he doesn't know if it supports HDR because I can't find anything on it. So it might not. I mean, I don't know. So it's what's up, Mr. Andrew? So about making Game Pass can help them win E3. Again, I'll comment on that in a minute. But I'm trying to figure out, Andrew, do you know if there's any HDR support for Destiny 2 on any platform, whether it's Xbox One S, because Xbox One S supports HDR. So, and so does the OG PlayStation and the Pro. So does anybody know if it supports HDR? That's, this is just a general question. I'm not bashing or dissing. So I don't know about, all right, Game Pass to me is a great idea. That's what should be the selling point for people like me. They got to come out and say, with Game Pass, it allows you to play umpteen many games. They may say you can now play 350 games. What the fanboys are going to say, Andrew, is that now Xbox has more games than PlayStation. That's what they will turn around and say, because that's why Microsoft did that. That's why Microsoft did that. I mean, to me, it's a good idea, though. I'm looking at that. That's another selling point. But Game Pass will be on all Xboxes, right? So since you can force – now, Andrew's saying that let's see. The Savage is saying the thing I don't get is Xbox fans saying Scorpio will whatever game at 4K 60 FPS based on nothing. The console is not out. There are no games running on it for reference to see. Again, you're right. That's a legitimate statement there, Savage. But ask yourself why they did that. That's what I'm saying. Ask yourself why they said, hey, look, you've got to, all these games are going to run like that. So all right. So it says you can, So you can force all games into HDR on Sony TV's HDR setting. You can force it? I don't think you can force it because that's a signal. It's like, all right, Mass Effect runs in HDR, but Witcher doesn't. And I've got it on the same channel. And so if it doesn't, I didn't think if it had it, it couldn't do it. So, but anyway, it may, I have no idea. So my TV, I don't have a Sony TV, I have a Samsung TV. So shout out to Samsung. But again, I know my game looks better because I'm looking at it. It obviously looks better. And understand, I had a 1080p 240 hertz Samsung 7100 series television. So my TV cost over $1,000 when I bought that damn thing. But it's a gorgeous TV. It's a gorgeous TV. So no, I don't think Game Pass will suck. I think it's a good idea. I just don't like the fact that you have to pay. My whole thing with Kid Smooth's comment is, how can they win E3 when they've already announced Game Pass? They announced Game Pass, last year? Wasn't that last year they announced Game Pass? So how is that going to help you win anything? We already know you got it. You already know you have it, and we got to pay for it. That's what I don't like. And because of hold on. Because I'm still on vacation, by the way. If we already know it's coming, who cares what you got? And I'm not big on paying for services. If you have an Xbox One, you buy it, you're paying $10 a month, whatever. You're paying $7 for Xbox Live. You may be paying for EA access. You may be paying for the other thing, what's it called? The Gamer Pass. So you're looking at $25 roughly, or they may combine all three and say $25 a month for all three. I mean, that's garbage. I mean, that's straight garbage, in my opinion. So, but that's me. So I don't believe in paying for extra services like that. You're already making me pay to play online. So, and I know it's an option. I don't have to do it. So, but that's disappointing. But that's where Microsoft is going. Like, again, I've said this before. Stevie Wonder can see that they're just going to go to a service base and say, hey, look, Game Pass is going to be coming to PC. I know that. There ain't a doubt in my mind that's going to come to PC. So that's actually a pretty good selling point. So again, you have to make it. I guess the marketing word is you have to make it attractive for for people to make the investment. It's just like, all right, if you buy a Scorpio, you need to understand as an early investor, you may not get a lot of games at the max rate, at balls to the wall. You're buying the Scorpio with the investment attitude of it will eventually come. I'm talking about the support for the games. Just like when I bought the Pro as an early adopter, I need to understand, like Guardian Legends has said, like Savage Yuger has said, they already understand, because the Pro CPU limitations, it wasn't going to be running a lot of games at 60 FPS. That's a consumer. That's a good consumer. That's a smart consumer. You can't depend on Mike Ybarra or Sean Lathan or any of those guys to come out and be 100% honest with you. What's that saying in Mass Effect 2 when Shepard asked Joker, do you trust Cerberus? And Joker said, well, I don't trust anybody that makes more than me. So I don't. So you do have the Xbox fans. This is getting back to that. This is getting back to that. Why do you feel the Xbox fan? Because that's a legitimate point. I think it was Savage Yuger who said that Xbox fans said that they had no evidence that the games are going to do that, yet they came out and said it. This is why we refer to them as Jack Reacher. Okay, because they are reaching for what they want the console to be instead of just waiting for the console to come out. Now, haven't I always said to you guys, you should wait for confirmation from the studio? I've said that when it comes to gaming. I say that when it comes to movies. I say that when it comes to buying anything. Okay? It's just a fact. It's a fact that I was waiting, that you guys should wait. I always use the example of Marvel Studios with Miss Marvel. So that's just a fact. Again, everybody March of last year knew that who was going to get that part. Everybody knew it. But it wasn't official until Marvel announced it. So ask yourselves why they did that. So, yeah, EJ Johnson saying that Xbox will be a service through that Xbox will go through and it will be dead. I don't know if it. I don't think Xbox is going anywhere, but I do know that they lose money. That division is the only division at Microsoft that loses money. They're not losing money in PC. They're not losing, because they got rid of their phones. They were losing a shit ton of money, but they don't lose. Xbox loses money each time they sell an Xbox. So, now Andrew's saying that he said he's got a 43-inch Sony TV. Once you turn on HDR, it brightens the hell out of the pic on any game. And PS interface, no doubt. So no doing so on my Samsung. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't know if Sony's got some. I might, because they may have the same kind of components, but the TV is already upscaling. Like I said about my Witcher game, I'm here looking at the game, and it already looks stunning. Everybody knows that it looks stunning, but it looks better on the 4K because of the upscaling. So, especially with the Scorpio, we'll lose more money. They're trying to make up the money with Game Pass. You see what they're doing? They come out with a new device. They come out with a new service to pay for. Do you all understand how that balances, though? New device, more services. So the problem is Scorpio, if they can get enough people to buy Game Pass, they won't lose money on Scorpio. I don't know how much Scorpio is going to cost either, but hell, we're going to find out in a few weeks because E3 is in E3's in less than 25 days. So we're right on the thing. So PSVR is allegedly having a price drop. So if it comes into the wheelhouse, I'll look into it. So, but between getting the 4K, between trying to get the PC built and then looking at the Forza game, which I'm telling everybody should try to play that game. And if anybody in the chat knows if the Forza has the Hot Wheels game, if you can build your own tracks, I will go, and like I said, when Scorpio's announced, I'll go reserve one day one. So Ed Pauline said it's going to $399. Is that for the PlayStation VR, or is that for the? You think that's going to be the cost of the Scorpio? Actually, PSVR, EJ, is the biggest selling VR in the world. It's out so like Vive and the Samsung thing, all the other VR devices combined don't sell as much as the PSVR. So it's done exactly what they thought. So Scorpio, all right, Edwin's saying he thinks Scorpio will be $399. Okay. Well, I mean, if it's $399 and they have a Forza Hot Wheels bundle, and I can build my own track, I'll buy it. I mean, I will buy it. I will physically knock those Xbox down, football style, and get the console. So it's just that's the way I roll. I mean, especially when it comes to the Hot Wheel, because I used to race. You don't understand. We had driveways as kids, and we would make Hot Wheel tracks, and we would each bring our Hot Wheels over, and we had different classes of Hot Wheels. So your new cars, if you had a new Hot Wheel, it went into the pro. We had like, what was it called? Pro competition. Yeah. I mean, and I had the Vagabond, baby. The Vagabond was a heavy Hot Wheel, so it would get behind and then it would always catch up. So, but that's my childhood. Everybody's different too. So yeah. So it's but you guys need to understand, you all have to start looking at where you're getting your information from and just try to be smarter consumers. Not that you're dumb, but understand that, okay, if the Scorpio CPU is roughly like the Pro CPU, which I didn't really know that. I mean, yeah, he's right about that. The CPU does have some issues. I know it's a little bit faster. Do you think it'll be fast enough to run 60 FPS on all games? We have to wait and see. That's what I'm saying. Let's just take a wait and see approach. And I said earlier, for all we know, they're going to come out of E3 and say Destiny can run 60 FPS on the hell, they could say it can run 60 FPS on the Scorpio, but we'll also have a mode that lets them run it at 30 as well, so they can play with the Xbox One people. They could come out and say that in theory. So okay. All right, so here's what Savage is saying. This is about the HDR comment. Says he couldn't find anything about confirmation about HDR on Destiny 2, but I'm pretty sure it will have HDR. Okay. But see, as me with the YouTube channel, I cannot report then that it has HDR. Do you see what I'm saying? That's nothing against you, Savage. That's nothing against you. So see, what I would say is, what I will report it to you right now, as of right now, there's no information that Destiny will have HDR. None. That's the end of it. That's a factual quote that I'm giving you, because there is none. There is nothing online right now, either at Bungie's website or PlayStation Lifestyle's website. There's nothing independently verifying it. Therefore, it's not going to have it until Bungie comes out and announces it. Do you see what I just did there? Okay, so I would say there's no HDR. So I would say to you right now, there's no confirmation of HDR. So let's wait and see, because that's what's been lost in all this. Everybody's so caught up on 60 FPS versus 30 that you notice they're not talking about HDR. That's crazy. Okay, that is loco. So that's a bigger deal to me than 60 FPS. So so yeah. So it's so okay. Well, if you want to donate something, Andrew, I appreciate it. But any donation I get is going to go towards the camera so that I can build the PC on video. So that's anybody who wants to donate. That's anybody. So, now if you want to, if you want me to get a PayPal and I can do something separate, you let me know and I'll do that. And that'll go for the PlayStation VR. But if anything coming through the Patreon, that's for the camera. So but I'd appreciate it though. I appreciate you on that. So Edwin's saying Microsoft will go that far so they stay competitive. Microsoft is there. It's not that they're not being competitive. go as far as what though? Because I just think they're going to a service-based model. So that's no diss on Microsoft. I hope people don't take that as me whacking Microsoft. This, for me as a consumer, you have to look at, let me go back to 2013. Me as a consumer, people walked in and they saw one console being $399 and the other one being $499. They both did the same shit. They both played movies, they both played games, so they bought the cheaper console. People did what was more practical. Okay, we're just coming out of a recession. We don't want to spend more money. Now, the problem is that the Xbox community has said, well, they should have bought the Xbox on a matter of principle. That's bananas that they say stuff like that. I mean, that's what they believe. So, I just don't get it. So, so we need a big killer app for the VR. Now, let me ask you, that one that just came out, the Planet Side, whatever just came out this past Tuesday, do you have that, EJ? So that's my question, because I heard nothing but good things about that. So, I mean, again, that's what I've heard. But yeah, PlayStation VR, I've tried it out, and like I said, I wouldn't mind trying to get one, but and Guardian Legend says if Scorpio was $399, I would be worried. Well, why would you be worried if it's $399? Yeah, Farpoint. Yeah, now Farpoint, I've heard nothing but great things. I mean, shout out to the god of PlayStation, Kratos. He's got it. He said it is really good. He said even the gun that you hold when you put it up, it's there in front of you, and it's got a residual effect on it, meaning that it has a force mechanism on it. It feels like you're actually shooting. Force feedback, he called it. All right, Resident Evil 7. Yeah, I have played that for like 20 minutes on VR. That was pretty crazy. That was cool. That was kind of, that was neat, but it wasn't pushed. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't really pushed. And VR is hard to show people unless you're physically doing it yourself. And people have had issues with it. They're having seizures and things like that because your mind is telling you that what's in front of you is real. So I hope when people put on their VR helmets, they're closing their eyes to reset their brain. And then you have to tell yourself it's not real, it's just a game. If you tell yourself that, your brain will interpret information differently. I work in the medical field. It's an amazing thing the way your brain works. So, but yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Farpoint. I've heard nothing but good things. Resident Evil was fun. I did try that. I was not able to do what was the video game that came out back in the day where the kids were trying to stay alive? So Until Dawn Part 2. I didn't I didn't get to try that, but I heard that was good too. So Phil Spencer said the Scorpio, this is Guardian Legend saying, will be premium console. $399 is not a premium price. And at that price, you can expect Microsoft to cut corners. Well, I mean, all right, but we've already seen it working. Albeit on a game that's already optimized, but I think that's always good. So the fact they showed it, and look, I got no problem with it. And the other game that they showed running was Forza Motors, was it Horizon 2 or Horizon 3? They said that was 4K 30, and nobody threw a fit. Nobody said, ah! But my understanding of it was from Digital Foundry was that any game that's already 30 FPS will always be 30 FPS because of the CPU. So why? Ask yourself another question as a consumer when it comes to Destiny 2 on Scorpio. When do you all think in the build process they had the CPU mapped as far as what it was going to run at? You see what I'm saying? And or if you're an Xbox fan, let me ask you this. Would you take a delay on Destiny 2 for them to come back and say we have a Scorpio build? Let me ask you all that. Is that a legitimate question? Because what if they say we can give you a 60 FPS build, but we can't do it till mid-2018? And at that point, the game, a lot of the DLC is already out of the way. What if they did that? All right, yeah. Let me do that. Let me reset that. What if they did the same thing with Destiny 2 that they did with the Tomb Raider did for Sony? Because Sony's Tomb Raider build is phenomenal. And I'm talking in the pro build, my God. I mean, that Laura Croft, you can see the acne growing on Laura Croft's face, you know. So, but that's a question for you guys. Would you guys take a build that came later, say 6 to 10 months later? So Edwin Paul is saying hello, no. Oh, okay, I don't know. He's saying hello to somebody. So, but so it's a. I'm just asking. You know, is that a legitimate question? Would you guys take a delay in order to get a better build for 60 FPS? I mean, to me, this is just a legitimate question for the Xbox community, because that's something you guys could push for. You could say, we don't want Destiny until you give us a 4K build, and we'll take a 1-year delay. That way, Bungie can clearly see how the Scorpio is moving as well. You know, that way Scorpio has 6 months on market. And they can say, okay, we will still keep this build in house. You see what I'm saying? We won't release it until we see what the market bears. I.e., if you motherfuckers are going to go out there and buy the console. So you see what I'm saying? You know, that's it. So, so that he's saying, Andrew's saying that he gets drunk while playing PSVR. All right, what about the Andrew? Let me ask you about the Eve Valkyrie. Have you played that? And if you played that, how is that with the PlayStation VR? Andrew's never gotten sick, so that's good. That's great news. I mean, that's great news. So most people don't get sick, but you can get sick because it is an alternate reality. So it's, you know, and I heard somebody had AR is cool too. So is that the augmented reality that I think Microsoft's going with? And that's another thing. Again, so that's my question to you guys. If you're an Xbox guy, would you take a delay of this game to get a 60 FPS build? And I'm gonna ask this on the Gamer Couch today. You know, so you know, what do you guys think? Do you think the Xbox community would go crazy? Do you think they say, hell no, we don't want this, or you know, or do you think you will take a delay? I'm trying not to trip over my words. Would you take a delay to get a better build of the game? That's my question for the Xbox community. Again, I'm not buying the game. I got no bone in the fight. I would be more upset about no HDR support. That pisses me off more than anything, and that's not being reported to you guys. Okay, I've not heard anybody come out and say it's got HDR support, and that means it doesn't have HDR support. Bungie's not saying it has HDR support. PlayStation Lifestyle's not reporting it. WCC Tech's not reporting it. So as of right now, it doesn't. And you have to wait and see if they're going to get support down the line. They could patch it in, but then is it going to be a good patch? I mean, you got to think about stuff like that. So, so PS and PSVR has regional exclusive content. Get accounts in it. Okay, all right, I got you. All right, but let me ask you, do you have the Valkyrie online? Because that, if I am able to get a PlayStation VR, that's the first thing I'm going to buy. I can tell you that right now. You know, that I'm going to get. So before I get anything else, because, again, I like space games. You know, that's why I got Elite Dangerous on the PlayStation, on the Xbox. And does anybody know, well, yeah, when is Elite Dangerous coming out for the PlayStation? Hopefully we get an announcement at E3. I mean, I think that'd be a pretty cool announcement. So, because they're supposed to have all the content with it. Speaking of more content, let me get a sweetie. But yeah, so ask yourselves why those guys did that, and then ask yourselves, have the ones that did it, and you know who they are, have they come out and apologized and said, hey, look, we just can't, you know, it's just not going to happen, folks. You know, I'm just, you know, it's just not going to happen. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate that that things have broken bad for them on this. So, but if that's pretty much, I'm gonna wrap it up here now, and I do appreciate you guys joining me. And yeah, I hopefully will be able to get on the Gamer Couch podcast. That'll be later on today, so in a few hours, about 3 to 4 more hours. Go check out Gamer Lives Matter, because he's gonna have a challenge on his channel coming up here in the next 30 to 40 minutes, maybe, or an hour, roughly 30 to 45 minutes to an hour on his channel. So, yeah, I will do that, Andrew. I saw that earlier. So I will go ahead and do that. I'll probably do it Friday myself. So my little part-time joint should be paying me on Friday. So I'll get a PayPal thing then. And then you can instant message me, or I can instant message you, or I can put it out there. So I'll try to put the stuff in the description, but I have no idea how to do that. So, but anyway, the sources that I've quoted to you guys today are WCC Tech, PlayStation Lifestyle Magazine, and there was another one. I can't remember where it came from. Oh, Eurogamer.net. That's one of my favorite ones to go to. So that's where I get my sourcing from. But I always try to tell you all what the sources are. So, okay, cool. I will do that, Gamer Lives Matter. I sure will. So I will retweet that. But this is for everybody who wants to look at this challenge that Gamer Lives Matter is going to do. He just tweeted me. That's why I stopped. So I'm going to retweet that for him here in a few more minutes when this comes down. So Andrew saying that he's only played the Eve short demo and looks good. Okay, so people say it isn't as good as Riggs. Now, I'm happy that they've got good PS support. But let me tell you this. I think a lot of the games that are on the PSVR, I think a lot of those games are going to end up on Scorpio too. Because that's another platform for them to get their games out on. So don't be shocked if you're a PlayStation guy if you don't see some of the VR games go over there. Just don't be shocked. Don't be like, oh, I can't believe it. Don't get caught up in the console shit. Just, hey, look, the more people that have access to the content, the better the content will sell. And the more sales you get, that means the healthier. And the game, everything stays healthy. You can get a sequel. People have got to start looking at it like that. Now, I don't expect first-party games to ever jaunt over to Xbox and or the other side. Now, there are some games I think are coming from the Xbox side. I still think Remedy making that game, that opens up the door for them to bring Quantum Break over. Not maybe Quantum Break, but maybe Quantum Break 2 over as a multi-plat game. So, it's just stuff like that. So, but if there's any questions, I will take them now or forever hold your peace. But again, just going back, you need to understand what the tech is capable of and don't get caught up with people. Like if you have a PlayStation Pro, you need to understand that your games are going to be 1440p to 1800p. That's what Sony targeted. They didn't target 4K. But if they're able to get 4K, that's the extra. Like I said, you've got a gourmet burger. Now you're getting an extra side. So that's fun. Like I said, Skyrim in 4K to me, because I like the original Skyrim. So that for me was good. But there's a shit ton of people who don't like Skyrim and don't care that it's in 4K. They didn't care about it when on the Xbox 360. I love Skyrim. A lot of people didn't like it. So the Tomb Raider build on the Pro was fantastic. So if there's another Tomb Raider game, I expect it to look better on the Scorpio than it does on the PlayStation, but I expect it to run 30 FPS. I expect it to run 30 FPS. So that's just me because it's a console, not because it's got nothing to do with power, but because we're console guys. And if we're console gamers, we want the convenience of being able to walk in, buy the console, hook up three things: power, HDR, and the joystick. In essence, we have 3 ports to put in, and then you turn it on and you turn your TV on and you start playing. The PC is a little more technical than that, and so it has more things. You can put your games in 2160p 60 if your console rig is built for that. You can put it in 2160 30. If it's built for that, you can say, well, I don't want to max everything out at 2160p 30. I'm going to drop down to 1600p 60 or 1440p unlimited or unlocked. So that's why you buy a PC. So if you buy Destiny, you need to have and you want 60, it's been confirmed that's going to be only on PC. So let's get it on PC. Let's get it on PC. So, but shout out to all you guys out there. I'm gonna wrap this up and then ask yourself why Jack Reacher. And those are the Xbox guys who told everybody. These are the same Xbox guys that said Vega Ryzen CPU. And that's my new favorite word. I may change my picture up there from the Black Panther to a Vega Ryzen thing, just so people can laugh at it. So ask yourself why they were saying Vega Ryzen CPU. Ask yourself why they were saying that the console was going to run every game at 4K 60. So we should play each other on MLB. Oh, well, that's possible later today, but I don't have a PlayStation account. So I canceled that to watch Netflix because I'm a big House of Cards guy, and House of Cards comes on next Tuesday. So that's why that's where my PlayStation money went to. But yeah, we can definitely do that, Andrew. Let's see here. We'll set something up. Yeah, because I'm supposed to play Kratos as well. I'm horrible at that game. I can't hit that ball to save my life. So, but it's a fun guy. It's fun. I'm glad Ken's on the cover. I played Little League Baseball, and make that clear, Little League Baseball with Ken Griffey Jr. He is from Montgomery, Cincinnati, and I am from Hamilton. I am from the Hamilton area in Cincinnati. So I played for Church's Fried Chicken and made the All-Star team, and I played third base and Ken played shortstop. So that's when I met him, and we got to meet Ken Griffey Sr., and it was a big deal, blah, 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 So, but yeah, no, I love Ken Griffey Jr., no homo. He's a good guy. I am so glad to see him on the cover, and I bought that game hoping that I can run into him at some point because a friend of mine that went to Moeller High School with Ken, he still stays in touch with him. So I'm trying to get my friend, his name is Keno, trying to get Keno to have Ken sign that for me and get it back to me. So that's, I'm efforting that. Let's say I got a big life. I know some popular people, folks. I'm the guy that knows the guy that knows the guy, so to speak. So, but yeah, I liked MLB The Show, but my God, I could not hit that ball to save my life. I had to. I got to find a good setting for it because if I put it on basic, all they do is groove fastballs to me, and I can hit those. But I got to get it so that the pitcher tries to strike me out, and it makes me try to guess where the ball is going to be because that's the game of baseball. What's that pitcher going to throw? Is it going to be a curve? Is he going to bust me inside? Is it going to be a fastball down and away? Just stuff like that. What's your Twitter? I'll get that out. Yeah, because I'm about to wrap it up. So, but yeah, it's so yeah, you guys just ask yourself that. Just do yourself that favor. Just at one point, just say, hey, look, I'm a consumer, and like Guardia Legend said earlier, and Savage said earlier, you need to know what you're buying and understand if you're an early investor. You're going to have to wait on content, be patient, so I understood that when I bought the Pro. So when I bought the Pro, the only game that had a Pro build was Tomb Raider. That had a Pro build. And when I bought that, my God, I was blown away by it. So I was impressed. So color me impressed. So I had to wait on the next game, which for me was Mass Effect Andromeda, which I know the game is garbage. I mean, I'm a Mass Effect fan, and it pains my heart to say that. The game is not good, but the game looks great, especially with that HDR on. Man, oh man, it looks fantastic. So you also need to know that all your 1080p games, like The Witcher, like all the games that were 1080p, so I don't know, Dragon Age Inquisitions, The Witcher 3, all those type of games, since they're 1080p, if you got a 4K TV, you are going to get a upscale effect and you will get a better looking picture. That has nothing to do with CD Projekt Red and everything to do with the technology that you have. And you guys should know that when you buy it. Okay, there's no HDR Pro build for The Witcher 3, but I can tell you I'm looking at it right now on my TV, and it looks better. Okay, still the same game, but it looks better because of the technology that I purchased. Also, I don't think it's worth it to buy a Pro if you don't have a 4K TV. I mean, that's just my opinion. Take your $399 and buy a 4K TV. Just make sure when you buy it, and this is for the people who don't have 4K TVs, make sure it has it supports the 2.0 HDR. Make sure it does that. Okay, you want your HDMI cable to be at least 18 BPS or something like that, or MPBS. That you want minimum 18. And I bought the Pearl Audio Vox Pearl at Best Buy. That's what I bought. So shout out to those guys. That way you get the 18. Now the Pro comes with a 2.0 cable, but the Pearl is a little bit higher grade than that, so I get a little bit better picture and sound. Not that much, I just get a little bit better, just a little bit. So just make sure your TV does that. Also make sure your TV does HDR 10-bit, not 8-bit. You need a 10-bit HDR panel with the minimum of medium gambit settings. So you want to go, if you, that's where you want to be. That's a good build. That's a good TV, a good 4K TV, and you're only spending $399. So, you know, people still base this too much online. Yeah, well, you got to anticipate that when they get on base. Just try to throw the ball down and away so they can hit ground balls. Oh, hell, you know this, Andrew. Shit fire. You baseball guy. Throw your pitches down and away, hit ground balls. So it is what it is, and shift your infield to take away that gap over by second base. But that will open up the third base line. So you got to have a real good I would bring the outfield in when there's a guy trying to steal, and I would shift towards the right side. So that kind of helps cut down on stealing. That's just a baseball strategy. Use that strategy. That cuts down on it. So and throw pitches down and away. Throw strikes, but throw them down and away. But so yeah, just understand when you're. Let me get back to this. When you're throwing when you're going to go buy that stuff, and I'm not here to tell you what TV to buy. I don't care if you buy a Hisense TV or a Vizio TV, because it's your money, it's your coin. You're the one making the purchase. As long as you're happy with it, it's all that counts, okay? So just make sure you buy the right stuff so you don't have to go back to the store and buy more stuff. You know, I'm an old man and I've been burned. I mean, I was an early adopter to the Sony Laserdisc. And you all may not be old enough to remember this thing. This thing came out in the early 90s, and the Laserdisc looked like a record player. It did. And mine still works. You know, it had the S cable, which was brand new, and I had 5.1 surround sound with it. And I bought Jaws and Blue Thunder and Pumpkinhead. I bought movies like that. And I went back into the store because I would get paid. I would try to buy one disc. And I remember I went into Sears to buy one, and they were all gone. They were like, well, Sony quit producing them. But I'm not mad at Sony. I'm mad at myself as a consumer, because I should have waited 3 to 6 months to not get burned. That's why I always say wait 90 days. 90 days, same as cash. What you also can find out in 90 days is that each company has to report a fail rate. You know, so if the console or whatever you buy is not acting right, so that's, there's a reason why iPhones, when they come out, they say put insurance on your phone because they may break, so there's things like that. So that's the way you have to look at it as a consumer. Just know what you're buying, understand why you're buying it, and look at it as an investment. Don't get caught up with Jack Reacher. Okay, do not let anybody tell you what it's going to be. You need to wait and see what it's going to be. And if you adopt early, you need to understand you may have to wait. Okay, you may have to wait. Just imagine, like me, I bought the Samsung 8500D HDR Blu-ray player, 4K, does all this stuff. I bought that damn thing when it was $239. It was $249.99 off of being $299 or $399 at Best Buy. I went in there, I saw it, $249, shazam, I got that thing. I bought a couple of UHD movies. I'm like, yeah, I got a great deal. Until Black Friday came, and the same thing that I bought was $199. $199. Now, had I just waited for 5 months, I would have gotten a better deal. That's my fault. That's my fault, so I can't blame Samsung for doing that. So it's not Samsung's fault. I didn't wait, just like it's not you all's fault. It's not you all's fault if you bought a Pro and you don't have a whole lot of support at the beginning. You should have known that. You should have known it. So that's kind of admonishment for everybody. And what did we learn? We learned not to buy things early. I personally think there's enough pro support, this is my opinion, for the games. Like I said, there's at least 10 games that I can think of. Like I said, Fallout 4, the Hitman game that just came out, trying to think, Deus Ex, Uncharted 4. There's those 4 games off the top of my head that you go to Mass Effect, Tomb Raider. So that's 6 games. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games, in my opinion. 6 games for me is a whole lot of games. But I don't collect games, where there's 50 games in my library. I play a game. If it comes out with DLC, if I'm interested in the DLC, I will get it. If not, I won't get it. So I won't get it. So, but that's just me. That's just me. So yeah, and then with your 1080p games, understand, and also let me go back to the Pro. Also understand, in order to see the Pro in all its glory, you need a 4K television. Yes, I know there's downsampling, which does look good, but I'm telling you right now, a game like Horizon Zero Dawn that has Pro support, that looks good in 1080p, but nothing can prepare you for this stuff in 4K when you see the 4K HDR builds. I mean, that's just a fact, okay? It's just a fact. So, but shout out to the people that join me. So remember, guys, if you're an early adopter of Scorpio, that's perfectly fine to be an early adopter of it, but you should not expect it to do everything at 60 FPS except the first party games. Now, if the first party games don't do 4K 60, you may be a little bit disappointed. And don't be shocked if you get games at 1080p on Scorpio, because they're not mandating anything. So the game can still be 1080p. The game can still be 900p 30. It just, the developers don't have to do that. So yeah, Farpoint is freaking awesome. That's great. So Sonny, let me ask you, it says Sonny in VR. So let me ask you about Farpoint again. How is that gunplay on there? Is it intuitive, or is it hokey? So that's just a quick question here. But so what did we learn, folks? If you're an early adopter of anything, it's just like anything, you may be disappointed. If you go see the movie before the reviews come out and the movie is garbage, straight trash, and I can name a ton of movies like that, but if the movie's garbage, whose fault is that? So it's your fault for you should have waited on the reviews. Now, ultimately, the best review is your review, but if everybody's telling you the movie is trash, maybe the movie is trash, you ought to wait to rent it. So I told you all my movie rating scale, anything 1 to 2 stars, that's a rental. That, to me, I'm trying to help you save money. Anything 3 stars, it means that it's a matinee movie and you would probably like it, but don't spend a ton of money. Anything 3.5 and above, 3.5 to 4 means go see it either at the matinee or post matinee. If you like the actors and actresses, anything 4 and above, go see. Like I said about Wonder Woman, my review is going to be coming on that in a couple weeks. But my early review, no spoiler here, that's a 4-star movie. Go see that movie. It is good. It was fun to watch. DC finally just followed what Marvel did with with their stuff. They made a good movie about one of their characters. You don't need to be doing Batman versus Superman shit like that. So, COD. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Andrew, is that to me, there's enough games on the Pro with Pro support that it balances it out buying the Pro. But I wouldn't do that unless I had a 4K TV. But he's right. Call of Duty looks amazing, especially when you're on the different planets and moons fighting. It does look amazing. So, I mean, it's the best looking Call of Duty game I've seen. And like I said, I've liked most of the Call of Duties this generation. I didn't like Call of Duty Ghosts. I thought that was garbage, straight trash. But the Advanced Warfare or whatever that was called, Advanced Warfighter or whatever, something like that, I like that. I like the one that had Kevin Spacey in it. I like that one. People were ripping those games. I loved them. But it's because they really concentrated more on the single player. They made the single player experience valuable. So yeah. Says EJ says, will the Scorpio and Pro cut the install and loading time short? I can tell you on the Pro, at least with the games I play, it has shorter loading times. And I know with Witcher, that is true because I've seen it. I know with Witcher, it would take a while. Now, a game that had longer load times and still has longer load times is Skyrim. Skyrim's load times were like, oh my God, so I remember that on the Xbox 360. Oblivion was like that too. Sometimes Oblivion took so long to load that I would just turn it off and restart. But I love the game so much. So yeah, hopefully that's something that we see. And like I said, loading times, that's the garlic on the potatoes. That's the sides. That's part of why you're buying it. Okay, you're buying it, and one of the benefits of Scorpio and Pro is you get shorter load times. That's great. That is fantastic. But you need to know that going in. That's an expectation, But is it going to sell you the system because it's taking shorter times? You understand what I'm saying? Let these little features be the garlic on your mashed potatoes, the onion on the hamburger, the sauerkraut on the hot dog. Pick your metaphor. Let that be that instead of concentrating on us as console gamers. We're at 30 FPS, folks. That's just where we're going to be. So, and if we get 60, fantastic, but you should always expect 30, and especially with the Pro and the Scorpio, you need to start expecting the developers to do 30 locked. 30 locked, stable frame rates. That's what I'm talking about. Just let's go for that. Anything above that is really good because remember when they launched Pro, they said nothing about 4K native, nothing. And that, about 4K native. So the fact that some games are able to get to 4K native, that's a good thing. Okay? That's a good thing. So let's celebrate that. So, yes, they do, Andrew. You're 100% correct. But according to the Xbox community, and I'm talking about the hypocrites, the Pro can't do 4K native. But we all know that's not true. So it's just time to, instead of, I'm not going to go back and forth with them anymore. I already know it can do 4K native. And you all need to just say, look, it does 4K native. And that's not even its target. Sony targeted beefier GPU specs because they wanted really good. They wanted the developers to take advantage of UHD benchmarks. They didn't do it the opposite. Now, Scorpio is doing something similar because, I did pull up the specs on Scorpio, and the CPU is a little bit better. Now, I don't know if it's good enough for the developers, the third-party developers, to crank out 60 FPS. So we just have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. And then you have to, like I said at the beginning, why would you, let's say you're all developers in that chat, why would you spend extra money, extra man hours trying to make a game 60 FPS that has a 0 install base right now? Okay, there's been no release date for the Scorpio, and we know that Destiny is coming out in September. So if the Scorpio doesn't come out, if the Scorpio comes out October 18th, which I think is going to come out right before Halloween, right before the holiday, to kind of start getting the momentum built up. I just think I predict them in October. So why would they build a game specifically for a console that's not even out on market that has a low install base? That's what you have to ask yourself. And it has a history of gamers who don't support new IP. Now, granted, this is Destiny 2, but what's so better? Did Destiny 1 sell better on the PlayStation or the Xbox One? It's so better on the PlayStation. Matter of fact, I think was it Square Enix or Crystal Dynamics that said that they did the Pro. They did the guys who did the Tomb Raider build for Sony. They flat said that the reason why they're still in business is because of the PlayStation sales. Basically, saved their business. So I mean that's documented. That's in their documents. So you all can go look that up yourselves. But that's what's Elite coming end of June. Is that another VR game? Speaking of elevation, ooh, yeah, that's very good there. But that's what you guys have got to start asking yourself. Just be better consumers, be smarter consumers, stay on top of it. If they announce Scorpio, like I said earlier, if they announce a Forza Horizon Hot Wheel bundle with Scorpio and you can build your own track, I'll buy it. that will sell me. So, but I have to wait. So yeah, but Andrew's right. They do have 30 native 4K games. And I know that, Andrew knows that. You all know that it can do 4K native. Does it have, and then remember that turned into, does it have high textures or medium textures? I mean, that's where their community is. And so that's why they're so upset now, that they're blaming Sony for them not getting a Scorpio version of the game, even though Bungie has not announced what the Scorpio build is going to be. They're just going crazy. It's enjoyable to watch. It's fun to comment on, but it's sad in another way as well. It's very sad. But let me get on out of here. I do appreciate all y'all joining me. I went a little long on this, and I apologize. So I'm gonna get back to my Witcher build. All right, now Andrew's saying Crap Gamer lied and said he threw up trying PSVR in the store. Now he says he bought it. It's better when you. Okay, let me tell you something else about these guys. Remember when Rocket League came out for the PlayStation and it was an indie game and the Xbox community attacked it and, oh, you all don't have any AAA games and Sony's ripping you all off. Meanwhile, Rocket League is still one of the most played games on PlayStation on PSN, I believe, because it's a fun game. Then it went over to the Xbox, and as soon as it got over there, those guys talking about with the guy that Andrew just talked about was like, oh, it's not that bad, it is fun, and we stayed up playing, and it's addictive. And then when you go to Xbox Live, when you go see who's playing, when Xbox reports who's playing what, how many hours, Rocket League is always up there, and that's an independent game. But do you see what they do? They get upset because they don't have access to the same things within the other community. They think, again, remember what Gamers United said, and I'm going to quote him. He said they bought the Xbox thinking that the games that were going to be on the Sony system, they were going to get, and they didn't get them. And since they didn't get them, they're constantly attacking. I don't know why you would throw up with the PlayStation VR. If it made you throw up, why the hell would you go buy it then? Obviously, it's not for you. So, I mean, it is what it is. If you threw up, in case you didn't hear me, if that guy threw up, why in the world would he go ahead and buy it? if he threw up. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a legitimate statement by Andrew. So I appreciate it, Savage. I appreciate you all's time. I'm going to go ahead and start playing Witcher 3 again before before my vacation ends in a few more days. So I will talk to you guys later. Check me out on the Gamers Couch podcast. Go check out Gamer Lives Matter. He's about to make a big announcement on his YouTube channel. So go check him out. Go sub to him. He's a cool guy. He's definitely a positive influence in the community, the gaming community. So I will talk to you guys later. Oh, all my contact information. I'm here for you guys. Craig Harris Talks Games, Craig's Corner. I have a Patreon. It's Craig Harris, then the number 88. And on Twitter, I'm Craig Harris 456. I think it's at Craig Harris 456. So you all can just hit me up either way. So I'm not going to give you my email address, however, but it's probably out there. So I think it may be on my Patreon. But I do appreciate it, guys. And shout out to the one Patreon that I do have. Always appreciate it. I'm $39 away from getting the camera, so that's always good. It's $1 to donate, chump change for a G. So you all want to donate, perfect. If not, it's not the end of the world. It's not like I'm asking for it, but it's not like it's not like I'm gonna ask you for it and then say if you don't give it to me, I'm gonna quit podcasting. Put it like that. I guess that's the best way to put it. So I appreciate you guys' time. I appreciate you all enjoying. Thank you all for the comments. Thank you all for subbing. I do love it. Like I said, the channel I'm at, I literally started doing this wanting maybe 30 to 40 subs, and I got over 120 subs, and I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you all's time and hanging out with me and checking me out on the other podcasts too. So let me give a big shout out here to Randall Thor, Porter Rock 77, Titanfall Princess, One Stop for Gamers, Gamers United, Gamer Lives Matter, Sean Fox, Max Gaming, Bear Hugger 29, all you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. And remember, play the games, folks. And if you're going to go to comment, you can disagree with people, but don't be disagreeable. Also, big shout out to Cycle Gamer and Widowmaker, those guys too, because I don't know where those guys have been. They've been in the comments, but they've been hard to get in touch with to do a podcast. So, but I'm going to try to get those guys back on, especially closer to E3 and maybe after E3. So shout out to the 10 viewers. And go check out my Witcher gameplay that I played I made it like a half-hour thing on the hardest level. My God, that game was difficult. My God. So let me get back onto that. And so big shout-out to you guys. Check me out later on today on the Gamer Couch with Sean Fox, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Peace out. Craig Harris, Black Man in the Green Chair. Y'all stay blessed.